my buddies, this is Carmen and welcome to another Chatty Crochet with me. In this video series, I will be crocheting something while talking about a random topic, like we're just hanging out, and maybe you're crocheting something too. This is definitely not a tutorial video. First, I talk about my previous blanket that I finished. So I definitely did not finish my May blanket yet. I'm waiting for it to be a little bit cooler before finishing it. And I had to do some reorganizing of my queued up projects to make sure the thicker, bigger blankets are in the back towards winter and fall. And then the ones that I can work on easier during the summer are up now. So I just started my June blanket. And let's pretend I started in June. I'm using the leftovers from April to make the baby blocks blanket. So here's one block. If you didn't watch my April vlog, I'll link it in the video. As a reminder, the yarns are Knit Picks Bravo Worsted in Tranquil. This is the Loop and Threads Impeccable Solids in Butterscotch, and then Loop and Threads Impeccable Solids in Pale Gray. And the link to the pattern will be in the description. But yeah, when doing this, it seems like something I definitely have to pay attention to. So I'm going to try a different video format. I'll record a top-down video of me crocheting this. I'll record a top-down video of me crocheting and then put a voiceover on top of that. Let me know what you think of this type of video. I'm interested in what you guys think. And without further ado, top down! Here we go! Last video, I talked about the movies I watched in 2020, so today I wanted to go over the TV series and other media I consumed. This time I will not have spoilers, but I still linked the timestamps below if you wanted to skip ahead. First up, Hamilton! Taylor and I actually got to see this in the theaters mere weeks before everything shut down for the year. I was very fortunate that we got to see it, that I ended up loving it so much. In general, I just don't like musicals that aren't animated. And that we got tickets for so cheap. I can't remember the exact price, but the total ended up being just over $100. I cried so much during the show, and the emotion stays with me when I listen to the soundtrack and when I rewatch the movie when it came out on Disney+. As much as I thoroughly love the show, I can't watch this in theaters a second time. When I watch or listen to the second half, I just get too emotional, and I'd rather duck out after the intermission. And that's really not fair to the people I would potentially go with. And also not fair to the people who could have bought my tickets and stayed the whole time. And it's also not fair to the actors who deserve a standing ovation at the end. So I included Hamilton in this video instead of the movie vlog, because honestly, you need to see this in person. Next up is The Office. I got Taylor to watch this finally, and we binged a lot of this series in 2020. We didn't finish it. Like a lot of people, Taylor didn't like season 9, so he didn't finish it. Next up is Star Trek Enterprise. So I finally got around to watching Star Trek Enterprise. I had seen all of the other ones in the previous years and just finished Voyager in 2019, but I didn't get around to starting Enterprise until 2020. I knew this series was the one with Connor Trinneer, who guested in my favorite sci-fi series, Stargate Atlantis, so I was excited to see him again. Tiger King is next. I watched this with everyone else, and yes, it is as crazy as it seems. I had also listened to a podcast about it earlier in the year, and I think it covered the same items, but it was super interesting to watch some of the footage they had. Really fascinating. Fargo, Season 4. I watched Season 4 in 2020. The season was set in the late 50s with a lot of racial issues, and it seemed fitting to have it air in 2020 with all the George Floyd protests. This season also had Timothy Olyphant in it. Next up is Haven. I rewatched this whole show and finally got around to watching the final season. I used to love this show so much. It was such an interesting addition and concept to the supernatural genre. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Like all sci-fi shows, it's kind of quirky, but I really love the characters on that show. And yes, there's a love triangle theme. Thank you. It kept college me extremely addicted to the show. Next up is The Mentalist. I didn't watch this when it came out because it came out at the same time as Psych, which has a similar concept, and Psych is much better in terms of silliness, and the characters are way better in my opinion. But this was still an interesting show to catch up on. Plus, I watched this at the very beginning of lockdown when I was home and didn't have anything else to do. I might have to rewatch Psych now, though. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 is next. I watched Season 6 in 2020. I found this season really interesting in terms of the team structure and the problems that the team had to deal with. And that's all I can say without spoilers. Never Have I Ever, Season 1. This series was really good, and I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. It stars a teenage girl who has to deal with typical high school problems, the problems growing up Indian American, and problems with her family dynamic. Such a heart-wrenching, lovely show. And Season 2 just came out. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Taylor had never seen this, so we started watching this during the pandemic. He didn't watch it for the same reason I didn't watch it at first. It looks like an American cartoon trying to be a Japanese anime, and he didn't want to watch, quote, American anime. I felt the same way. But I was convinced to watch it, and I managed to convince him to watch it too, and it is the best show intended for children, possibly ever. It deals with some real issues, and if you still haven't seen it, you should really check it out. Of course, next would be Legend of Korra. I had not watched this when it came out because it wasn't on any streaming services, so when we finished Avatar: The Last Airbender, we jumped straight into Korra. It showed the stark difference between Aang's stint as Avatar and Korra's stint as Avatar, because Korra, man, never got a freaking break. Mandalorian Season 2. I really insist that this show could be great for non-Star Wars fans because this is a Western dressed up in Star Wars outfits. This season, there's some things that only Star Wars fans will really care about, like glowing artifacts and guest appearances by some characters, but really it's a show about sticking to your values, completing your mission, and its various side quests, and the cutest baby. I'm not even taking other submissions at this time. This is the cutest baby. Forged in Fire. This is a knife, sword, and general weaponsmithing reality TV competition show. Taylor stumbled across Season 6 of this show on Netflix, and we watched one episode out of curiosity, and then it exploded into us watching the entire series, which is available on Hulu, and Taylor even bought the first series to watch. We are somehow super invested in a show that where neither of us knew anything about the subject matter beforehand and still don't know much about the actual bladesmithing process, but have hard opinions about all the people on the show. It's really addicting, and it is still available on Hulu seasons 2 through 5 and season 7, which they just added, and we are now fully diving into. And that's mostly it, everyone. I also watch a lot of true crime shows and consumed a crap ton of podcasts. But a lot of the shows that I watched were on Hulu, and they don't have a watch history available. And podcasts would take entirely too long to go over. But maybe that will be my next Crochet With Me topic? We'll see. Let me know what TV series or limited series that you watched that you liked and recommend them to me, because I'm always looking for recommendations. And don't forget to let me know if you like the top-down video. I really enjoyed crocheting that way because I usually crochet while watching something, and that's what I did. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye!